Hello and welcome to this brand new full demo of ClickUp to Sheets. This is a brand new refreshed demo as of 2026 that includes every single feature of ClickUp to Sheets, so you get a grasp of how it works and make it work for your specific use case. So this video is going to be bite-sized, it's going to be split into chapters, and if you can see my screen here, you will be able to see every single chapter and be able to click and watch the video for it here as a mini course. And you can also watch the full demo here by clicking that link. Or once you connect to ClickUp, you're also going to be able to view that demo again. So there's no way for you to be lost after installing ClickUp to Sheets. And if that's still not enough, we really want to make sure ClickUp to Sheets works for you. So we have a series of email, and you will probably receive one of them, where we let you book a quick call with us to unlock you on ClickUp to Sheets if you still have questions, if you still have a quirk or something specific that you want to import and you're not sure how to. With that said, let's get into how this tutorial will work. I'll first be talking about how to install and connect your ClickUp account into your spreadsheet. And then from there, we're going to talk about how to sync lists. So all of the tasks of a ClickUp lists, views, so filtered task or specific view you have in ClickUp. And in both of these features, I'm going to show every single type of sync: manual, scheduled, and live syncs. After that, we'll talk about exporting your time tracking manually or on schedule from ClickUp, and finally exporting your users as a one-off just to do an audit of your ClickUp workspace. So the very first thing you want to do is install ClickUp to Sheets if it's not done already. If you are seeing this video, it's more likely that you have installed it, but you can get the add-on from here and pick between an admin install if you're the admin of the company and you want it company-wide, or individual install. If you are the only owner, if you have a personal Google account, you'll only have individual install, by the way. So you pick between those, click continue, you follow the different prompts. You're going to be able to connect ClickUp to Sheets to your Google account, pick an account, click continue. You allow the different services, so there'll be a few things to accept for the very first time. And then you're going to see that message appearing. ClickUp to Sheets has been installed. You're going to click done. And once that is done, you're going to create a new spreadsheet or go to an existing one. And one very, very important thing you want to do is naming your spreadsheet. So I'm going to call it Acme Corp, just for the sake of this example. And ClickUp to Sheets will not work if the spreadsheet does not have a name first. So make sure it has a name, and then go to the bottom right of your screen. You're going to be able to see a sidebar toggle. Open that side panel and click on the toggle. There'll be the ClickUp to Sheets logo amongst a few default logos by Google. So I'm going to click there, and ClickUp to Sheets is going to be set up, and you're going to have to grant a few permissions. So I'm going to grant these permissions and just allow a few things more. I'm going to click select all and then continue. Once that's done, you will have your trial appearing. Your trial lasts 7 days. After those 7 days, you won't be able to access ClickUp to Sheets anymore, and you're going to have to go for a paid plan. The paid plans are available here. You can actually pick what you want to choose and actually be demonstrating things from the starter plan features into the business plan features. So first I'll talk about manual sync, and then I'll talk about the pro features with scheduled syncs. And then I'll be talking about the business features, which include live syncs and two-way syncs. So you can make changes into your spreadsheet as well. I'm going to come back here and connect my account. So I'm going to click connect ClickUp, and from there, I'm going to blur my screen because I have a few clients in there. I'm going to pick my workspaces. So I've picked a few demo workspaces. These are just dummy workspaces where I have a bunch of tasks, but for you, you're going to have to pick your own team's workspace, obviously, and click connect. It takes a few seconds for things to wire together. And once that's done, you should be brought to this screen that tells you your connection is successful, and where you actually have this very video so you can watch it from here. And once you close that tab, then you're good. That's connection is wired. By the way, if it's the very first time you're connecting ClickUp to Sheets, you will have another screen that tells you to accept the terms. I don't have it here because I've already accepted them. Once that's done, the first thing you want to do to try out every single feature is turn on the scheduled syncs, two-way sync, and live sync. You will need to click on the button so that things activate. I'm gonna activate schedule sync. It goes green, active, same thing for two-way sync, and then same thing for live sync. Live sync is a little bit different because it requires you to just connect your account again. There's an extra thing to accept and you're gonna go through it. And same principle, once you have connected live sync, you will see that screen and come back. Everything should then go green and you're good to go. Every single feature you can try completely free for 7 days. All right, so I've showed you part one, how to connect your ClickUp to Sheets account. Now let's talk about part two. Part two is gonna be about how to create your first sync, your first manual sync. So we're gonna pick between a list and a view sync. A list sync is basically syncing up any list you have in ClickUp. So say you have a list here called search and content. Here we have a bunch of tasks and we want to export all those tasks and even their subtasks, for example. So we have a bunch of subtasks here that we want to bring in. This is basically data. It could be anything. It could be logistics. It could be products. It could be talents. So whatever we want to bring in from ClickUp, we can import into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to click list sync and then you're going to have to match your hierarchy. So the mental model of the ClickUp hierarchy is that Upsys demo here on the top left is a workspace, marketing agency is a space, active work is a folder, and then search and content is a list. So we're going to look that up and go back to our tab and pick the Upsys demo workspace, my space that says marketing agency, and then my folder, which is active work, and then my list. So my list is called search and content. And then from there, you're going to be able to pick a few settings, which is basically what you want to bring into your spreadsheet. So I'm going to bring custom fields, for example, closed tasks, so whichever is already done, subtasks as well, the descriptions, and reporting and coloring statuses and dropdowns. So you can pick and actually play around with those settings a little bit to see how it renders. If you're unsure, I recommend you to start with custom fields, subtasks, description, and coloring statuses and dropdowns. That way you're sure you're bringing everything without bringing whatever is not really useful to you. By the way, creating a report is only available in the business plan. I'm gonna click Start Sync, and then it should create the first sheet. It's gonna create the sheet with the right list name, and it's gonna put all the data in there. Once it's done, it's going to tell you sync started, a new sheet will appear within a few minutes. If you want to get an update of how it's going and make sure it's still working, you can go into the top right and click refresh, and you'll actually see in the sidebar that there's a sync going on, syncing search and content. You can go grab a coffee and come back. It usually takes about a minute to sync a whole list, so it's pretty fast, and that is our first manual list sync. All right, so my first thing is made, it's a success, and every single task that was in ClickUp is now here. All of those tasks are obviously synced, and that is our first feature, which is manual sync. Now, what you can do is also have your syncs being scheduled, whether it's from a list or a view. And for that second example, which is part two of this quick tutorial, is how to sync a view. So we're gonna go into refresh here. And once you click refresh, it should tell you that it's done. From there, we can do our second sync. And this time we're gonna sync a view. The difference between a task and a view is that a view is a specific setup you have picked. For this example, I'm gonna go into my employee directory here and I have a few employees. And say I wanna group them by level. I'm gonna create a new view and call it by level. And all of my employees here, I'm gonna display them. Level is just a custom field that I have here. And I also don't want to see any employee where the status is rejected. So this is a filter I'm applying to my view. I'm applying the filter not rejected. It's the other way around, is not rejected. And I have a few tasks here. These are people in my employee directory. And these people, I want to export them, all right? I want to export this specific view with this specific layout, manager, team, and empty, and start setting things up in my spreadsheet. So I'm going back here, and this time I'm doing a view sync. I'm gonna pick my level. So it's a list level. It's a view at list level. All right. So sync view for list. And then again, I'm gonna pick my spaces. So this time it's gonna be into the people's space. And then from there, I'm gonna pick my view. It's a list at space level, I think, employee directory, and then employee directory is picked, and it should allow me to set my view. So here I'm going to bring the view that says by level, and then I can change a few things as well. So first thing I want to change is turn on scheduled sync. Scheduled sync allows you to have the sync refresh every 3 hours. This is part of the Pro plan, and that means any change you would do into the spreadsheet or in ClickUp will refresh automatically into the spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do is leave things like that and just turn on color status and drop downs and click start sync. So you're going to see it's going to create a sheet as well here, but only the columns that are of interest to us, the name, link, status, assignees, due date, are brought in because those values are set like so into the view. So if you only want to bring filtered data or group data or just some specific columns, all you have to do is bring a view instead of bringing a list in ClickUp to Sheets. A list brings everything, a view brings it as you set it up. All right, so we did that and we imported that view. And as you can see, it's set exactly like it is here into ClickUp. So if you were to make a change here in the setup, it will reflect in that view. For example, if I add a new field that I want to display, the email field, for example, it's just gonna appear next time I make a sync here. So we've synced our view on a scheduled sync basis. And the difference with a manual sync, as I've explained, is that the changes are gonna happen in 3 hours. So at 11:25 a.m., the next sync is gonna happen. This depends on the time zone of your spreadsheet, obviously. So if it's a weird time, make sure that the time zone of your spreadsheet matches the time zone of your country. What you can do as well, if you want to trigger that sync again, you can click sync here and that will refresh your manual sync or your scheduled sync. So I've actually refreshed my sync by level. And as you can see, the email field has just appeared and my tasks are going to appear in a second. Any change you make, if you click refresh, takes about a minute or so to sync. But obviously, if you turned on scheduled sync, you don't care about that. You're going to bed and in the morning, the data is fresh. Now, if you want the data to be even fresher than that, there's a feature called Live Sync. So scheduled sync is available on Pro Plan. Live Sync lets business plan users make changes live. And that feature is awesome because that means anyone that is in ClickUp can make a change and you'll see that here. And that feature can be combined with another business plan feature that is called two-way sync. I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone by showing you these business plan features on a new list sync. So we're gonna pick a list sync this time. We're bringing another list. This one is the River House list that we have here. Marketing agency, active work, River House, all right? So we have a bunch of tasks here and we wanna bring that in. So I'm gonna click live and then I'm gonna pick my direction. This time I'm gonna pick, instead of one way, two-way. So we pick two-way sync and then we're gonna bring a few more things. I'm just gonna bring my custom fields and say the statuses and dropdowns and say the reporting, which is a business plan feature, and description. I'm gonna click start sync and the sync's gonna happen again. But the main difference now is that you're gonna be able to make changes in the spreadsheet and they'll reflect in real time in ClickUp. Okay, so we've brought our tasks and our sync is done. And as you can see here, there's a slight difference with the other previous layouts, and that's because two-way sync is on. All of those columns in purple are editable. If you hover here over the top of the column, you can see that. And making a change to one of these purple columns will affect ClickUp. And because the live sync is turned on for River House here, not only is gonna make changes, but they're gonna be in real time. So say I wanna change the value of the email address here. We have this email address as a column here, and we have a bunch of empty fields. If we want, we can just make that slider up, bring it up, and those changes will just affect ClickUp real time. So those custom fields will start to fill in. The same way, if you make a change here and change the values of a field like the batch or the web products or the assignee, starting to set values, that will also populate in your spreadsheet. I'm changing a bunch of values here. And as you can see, the assignees are starting to be set up, the statuses are changed, the batches are being filled, and same thing, if I make changes here, it will affect ClickUp. So those changes go live between ClickUp and your spreadsheet. Same thing if I create a new task. So I'm gonna put it in bold so that we really don't miss it and call it new task example, 29th for the due date, and setting the batch to someday and campaign to brand refresh or whatever. And as I'm setting those values, there's going to be a queue here on the left that tells you if your sync has happened or if there has been an error. If it's successful, you're going to see where it happened. Did it go from Sheets to ClickUp or ClickUp to Sheets? And here you can see it's starting to populate. This one went from Sheets to ClickUp, so there's been a recent change. And that change is actually happening here. So my due date is set, a new task example, Sunday, and basically all my changes that happen in ClickUp happen here, and the sheet happen in ClickUp. So it's bi-directional, and that's available in the business plan. As you can see, you can really combine things exactly the way you need for your team. You can pick list sync, view syncs, you can go live, two-way, one-way, you can set up how you want to sync things. So it's very, very customizable, very powerful in exporting and playing around with your data between ClickUp and your spreadsheet. Now, the last things I'm going to show you are the two last features, export features. The difference is that they are tied to workspace admins. So you need to have a ClickUp account to have access to these admin features. These two features are only falling under the Pro plan. Pro plan users can use the time-tracked exports and user exports. We're going to start with time-tracked exports. So I've clicked on time-tracked, and from there I can pick if I want my time tracking to be manual, weekly, or monthly. In this example, we're going to go for a monthly sync on the same space. So in Upsys Demo Marketing Agency, I'm going to turn on Add Dashboard and Time Breakdown. I'm going to show you those features. So I'm scheduling my monthly sync, and what this means is we're in May now. So it's going to sync up the time tracked for my team for April. And then on the 1st of June, it's going to sync up May, and so on and so forth. So every single month, you're going to get a full report on your time tracked in ClickUp. And just for context, time tracking is a feature available starting at the unlimited plan and lets your team track time in ClickUp. You can view it straight from here. But being able to pull the data and make dashboards and export it is impossible from ClickUp. So that's where ClickUp to Sheets comes. It lets you play way better with your data because it's going to come up as a list here. And that data is here now, and you can view it. It's all the time tracked for my space. But what's cool here is that not only can you see it as rows, but you can also have reports and see the amount of hours spent on this month. So you can see that in April, this person has spent 35 hours on this list, maybe 127 on this one, 2 hours on this one. So you can see the split per client. And you can also have a report of that time tracked, by the way, in another tab. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is going to be exporting your users. And this is quite handy if you want to monitor who is using their ClickUp account in your workspace. So if you have 50 plus users, it starts to be useful. If you have 2-3 users in your workspace, there's no point, but it otherwise lets you see who's using their ClickUp account, if someone can become a guest just because they're an external user with an external domain, or if someone is simply not using ClickUp and you should remind them to use it or kick them out to save up a seat. As you can see here, I have an export of my users, and I can see, for example, that these users haven't been active for a while on the workspace. So these users, Lucius, Bruce, Liz, Tom, they basically are not using ClickUp. What this helps us do is make decision over the usage of our ClickUp account. How is it distributed? Do we have too many admins, too many guests? Is everyone using ClickUp? Right now we can see that pretty much 1/3 of the user is not using ClickUp on this workspace. So this helps us make decisions towards that. And that's it on your full tutorial on how to use ClickUp to Sheets. Now, this video is outlined and chaptered, so go to the chapter you need and look up how the feature you need works. Please use every single feature while you are on your free trial to just see the potential of this tool, especially the live sync feature and the two-way sync feature combined together that I love, that allow you to work both in ClickUp and the spreadsheet. If you're happy with that, obviously you can go for one of the paid plans on ClickUp to Sheets. The most interesting one being the business plan, which basically offers everything and allows you to get a full use of the tool. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you enjoy trying ClickUp to Sheets.